Hi, and welcome once again to another JW's pile of stuff, Josh's pile of stuff, whatever you prefer. This time we're looking at 5 items that they happen to all be autographed. Just happened by accident. I grabbed 5 things and I'm like, this looks good, that looks good. Don't try to do the same thing twice. There may be more than one photo, but it's not going to be the same kind of photo. Just like that. It's OCD. I don't know what it is, but I do know what these items are, and they're awesome, so let's look at them. First, we're going back to Memphis, back in the glory days, the 70s. And it's not Lawler for once. It's not even Jackie Fargo. I love Jackie Fargo. We'll be seeing some Jackie Fargo. Not today, but eventually. It's none other than the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. Handsome Jimmy Valiant himself. And this is the Jimmy Valiant fan club card. If you're a Jimmy Valiant fan and you don't have the fan club card, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know anyone else who has the fan club card. I'm sure someone does. I can't be the only one. At one point, I did get him to sign it. And there you can see his crazy autograph. And it's really actually very cool. You can see how the light catches it. It's got I don't know what you would call that material. It's like a vinyl almost, and he's on there, and it is embossed. And that is the Jimmy Valiant fan card, membership card, whatever you want to call it. Fan club member card, sure. I mean, it gets you into the Jimmy Valiant Public Library, I guess. It'll get you into the Jimmy Valiant Boogie Woogie camp every Sunday, 12 to 4, I think. Free, Shawsville, Virginia. I've never went, but he talks about it all the time. Or whoever writes his Facebook does. It's probably, I have no idea. Anyway, Boogie, the boy from New York City. Staying in the Crockett, well, he was a Crockett guy, not there, but he was. Staying in the Crockett family, I'll show you something signed by David Crockett, and it's something a lot of you probably have. It's the famous, beloved Starrcade 2 VHS set, double VHS set, I should say, rather, from 1987, 83 to 87, and mine is signed by David Crockett. It's got it signed a few years ago because I wanted somebody to sign it that was sort of behind the scenes with Starrcade. Dusty had already passed. I have so much signed by Dusty, this never got around to getting signed. Actually, I think I picked up this copy after he left us, but many of you, I'm sure, rented these, I should say. Be kind, please rewind. VHS, very collectible again. I got rid of a lot of my VHS, but never my wrestling VHS. And this is quite the set to have. Little write-up by Tony Schiavone on the back there. There is Starrcade, the granddaddy of them all. Now, if you want to see a rare autograph, Crockett and Valiant, they're still signing. I'll show you someone who hasn't signed for nearly 40 years, unfortunately, because he passed away. It would be actually about coming up on 38 years. And that is the adorable Adrian Adonis. And this is his autograph. He was not a big signer. There are other examples, but he was not a big signer, mainly probably because he was a heel. I can't ever remember a face Adrian Adonis. How I obtained this was a friend of mine pointed out a Facebook, what do you call it? Facebook, it's not Facebook, Facebook Classifieds, I guess it's called, listing where a lady was having an estate sale for someone and had a framed, matted display of wrestling autographs all on these kind of like it looked like autograph pages out of a little autograph book. He didn't want to go for it. I did. We were trying to identify them all. There was Roddy Piper was in there. Just some early mid-'80s guys. I think we even pinpointed which shows they were probably signed at because she was in Pittsburgh. And I think we pinpointed the shows, or at least I did, where they were probably signed. But the big one was, I can't remember who he's on the back of, but she was telling me as I was buying it from her that there was a few autographs on the back of them. This one doesn't have any, but a few were double-sided. And when I got home and ripped them out of there, JYD, the Junkyard Dog, was on the back one. But this Adonis right here, that was my pride and joy from that set. And like I said, there was Piper in there. Some of them I ended up selling to recoup the money. I ended up getting Adrian Adonis free. That's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. I ain't rich. I'm Pope. But I know how to do it. And that's how you can do it too. Maybe we'll do a tutorial. Now I'm getting cocky, huh? Anyway, continuing on. From Pittsburgh, we're going to South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, on June 18th, 1991, for a one-of-a-kind item. This is a photo from the Charlotte Observer of the one-man gang slamming Big Josh with Kevin Sullivan there, the Games Master, Taskmaster. I can't remember what the heck they were calling him in 91 with the gang, but there you can see it. And this is a newspaper photo. And the info is, and it's real small, so I'm not going to really hold it up that long. You can see printed on the back. There's a little small story even of the reporter going to this show. And I did end up getting the one-man gang to sign it. I obtained it through one of the photo houses on eBay. I don't know what you call it, sellers, but they specialize in is old press photos. There's quite a few of them, those type of sellers. And I did intend on getting Kevin Sullivan to sign it too, since he was everywhere, but unfortunately he had his health issues and then passed away. But I did get the gang on it, and I mean, if I'd had it years and years earlier, I could have had Big Josh on it too. But that's that, and it is a really cool photo. Again, I don't think any other copies exist. I don't even know if it made the paper. I'd be interested to see if it did. But there it is. It's really, I don't think we're picking up how really vivid it is. You can see that classic 91 WCW ring. Just a cool photo. I was really happy to grab that. And now we're going back to Pittsburgh. A few days ago, I would say maybe about 2 weeks ago, it didn't make any news in the wrestling world as far as I know, because he's really not known outside of Pittsburgh much, although he did go to Japan. But he retired, I believe, in the 80s, early 80s, maybe even late 70s. But it was a gentleman by the name of Frank Holtz. And he died. He was, I believe, 85 or 86. And here he is. And I had the pleasure of meeting him, I think, just once, at one of the Studio Wrestling reunion signings that were held about 15 years ago now, that so many of the names appeared at. Bruno was, of course, at most, if not all of them. Tony Marino, Batman. Bill Cardell, our beloved Pittsburgh broadcaster and the announcer for Pittsburgh Studio Wrestling. Baron Mikhail Cicluna made one. Frank Durso, Hurricane Hunt, Johnny DeFazio, Chuck Martoni, our local guys who, again, didn't make many waves outside of Pittsburgh, but were our guys, and our stars of our 60s and 70s, early 70s Pittsburgh Studio Wrestling. Frank Holtz was one of them, and he was known as the Fighting Cop from Carnegie because he was indeed a policeman in the town of Carnegie, which is I won't call it a suburb, but it's a neighborhood in Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh. And he did like I said, he did the one appearance, and there weren't even really photos for him to sign. He didn't really want to do it, from what I was told, as he didn't think anybody would want to meet him, anybody would remember him, but we did. And that one, Ivan Koloff was at that one as well, and Larry Zbyszko, which brings me to the fact that Mr. Holtz was really our last living link to the Pittsburgh Studio Wrestling era, as far as most of us are concerned. I'm sure maybe you could find a few people who appeared. J.J. Dillon appeared as James Dillon. I'm not sure the time frame. I've talked to him about appearing in Pittsburgh, but again, I don't know the time frame. Studio Wrestling itself, the program that my parents grew up watching, that many Pittsburghers 60 and older grew up watching. I mean, it was huge. It ended in 72. So I don't know if JJ fit. Larry Zbyszko, as I'd mentioned, some would consider him to be the last one. I don't think he ever made it to Studio Wrestling proper. Studio Wrestling was on our channel, WIIC Channel 11, the NBC affiliate, which is now WPXI TV, changed over in the early 80s. It was a huge hit for them. They did it right at the WIIC studios. In 72, they dropped it. Another local channel, WPGH, picked it up, which is now the Fox affiliate, channel 53, and it became Super Pro Wrestling. So it was no longer technically studio wrestling. It didn't last long in the second incarnation, but for all intents and purposes, Frank Holtz was the last one. He was the last one, like I said, of the local guys who made those studio wrestling reunion autograph appearances, like I said, 15 years ago, roughly. So he has passed away. But again, so glad that I got to meet him and all those legends. They were something else. And once Bruno passed, kind of knew that the era was over. But you got to remember these guys too. And Frank Holtz went to Japan too. He had at least one tour there. So some of you will have heard of him, even if you're not from Pittsburgh. And there's our man, the fighting cop from Carnegie. So I want to thank you for joining me for another pile of stuff. I didn't have quite the active week that I wanted to, week and a half maybe, on here. I'm trying to do these very regularly. As I brought up in one of the earlier ones, seems like a tragedy always happens. I did have a little health issue that prevented me, but I'm back. And it wasn't anything like an heart attack or anything. It was just an ongoing chronic issue that kept me from doing them. I did a short, I believe, in that meantime. But again, I want to thank you always for every time for joining and for following all the social media accounts. As much as they restrict me from the algorithms and nobody seems to see my posts a lot, if you do, if you go out of your way to see them, thank you. And stay tuned because there's a lot of great stuff coming up, even better than this. What's better than Adrian Adonis?